Were you ever alive on Earth? Does it matter?
At one point.
When, if I may ask?
Long time ago.
Oh, how many longs ago?
How many longs? Just a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, very long.
Was there any civilization at the time?
Yeah.
What was it like?
Not my civilization. It was. I didn't know of other civilizations until later.
Okay, what was yours like?
Comfortable.
Did you live in a house or a cave or underground or in a tree or what?
In a tree? No.
Gotta cover all bases. Under the water?
I know. It was on land. Kind of clay constructions. Clay, I think. Like a red clay.
Kind of like an adobe, if you know what an adobe is.
Oh, that's a good word. Yeah.
Okay. So what was the weather like? Was it warm, cold?
Very. Mostly warm. It would get cold.
Would it snow?
Once in a while, a dusting, but it was unusual.
Was there a lot of greenery around?
No.
So this is more like in the southern west United States type of climate?
Yeah.
You can pull that out of Sarah's.
Southwestern United States, yeah.
Just like the climate, which I know is other places around the world too.
Yeah, but this was what you would call Southwestern United States. It wasn't the United States then.
Yeah. So, did you have other people living comfortably with you? In the same?
Well, the community.
Yeah. How many were in the community, remember?
Between 20 to 30 at any given time.
Men, women, and children?
Yeah.
Did you have horses?
No.
Did you have any, I hate to use this word, but Sarah know what I mean, beast of burdens?
She's correcting you. Beasts of burden.
That sounds like Sarah. Beasts of burden.
Beasts of burden. No, we were pretty much our own. If we actually had to lug stuff around, we did it ourselves.
Would you carry it on your back or drag it behind you or
depending on
put it in a cart and
what it was and how heavy it was? And
so were there many communities like yours around?
Many is subjective.
I know you were going to say that.
But then why did you ask?
Well, I thought about that after I asked it. How many other communities were around?
Don't know, a handful. We didn't rely on counting to see what was what. But there were just some other places we'd go to trade and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. What type of things would you trade?
Usually it wasn't just the women, it was usually the women, but sometimes we did it too. We wove things or made jewelry, kind of stuff.
What would you weave out? What material would you use for your base for weaving? Was it plant life or?
It depends. Usually it was plant life if we wanted baskets. That's interesting.
What's that?
There was something other that we used. But there weren't that many animals around. But there would be thin strips of a leather-like substance that we would use.
Would perhaps that is something you traded for?
Maybe.
Do you remember trading for it? So are you a male or female?
Male.
Okay. So did you go hunting?
Not usually. Well, younger children would go snare rabbits and stuff sometimes. And other small animals. It was a rodent kind of a thing. Don't know what your term for it would be.
What color was it?
Brownish with some black in it.
Very rough hair or smooth hair?
In between.
Like a groundhog?
Well, it might have been a type of groundhog.
Okay.
I'm not real scientific about that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was hoping Sarah had a picture of one. Does she have a picture in her mind? Of what this is?
Yeah, she's not. It looks kind of like, in her mind, a beaver, but there wasn't enough water for beaver dams and things like that.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
I don't know.
it could have been.
Could have been.
So were there a lot of those animals around that you trapped for?
I wouldn't say a lot, but enough for a while anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were pack rats or not, but pack rats was something, that was something different because they had long skinny tails.
Yep.
So there were a lot of those.
Yeah. They love the Southwest. Was there a lot of cacti around?
I wouldn't say a lot. Water, where do we begin? Must have been near a stream, a pretty nice fresh stream. I remember as a child, and as I got older, other children, their duty was to go and fetch water and bring it back.
How long would it take them?
Oh, I don't know.
A part of a day, all day?
No, just a short while. Just go get it, bring it back.
So, how did you tell time? Just with the sun?
Yeah, we didn't tell time in the way you're thinking, but
Right.
yeah, we watched the sun.
Morning, afternoon,
Mhm.
evening. You knew those concepts,
Yeah,
but maybe not those words.
well,
Okay.
understanding of those
Right.
words. Our words, her speech organs cannot wrap around our words. So,
You translate the image, huh?
yeah.
Okay. Did you have any crops that you grew? Like maize or fruit trees or nuts or anything like that?
Not really.
So what'd you guys eat for food?
Well, along the stream there would be plant life, there would be some berries, there'd be grubs and insects, and there'd be bleh. That's her reaction.
To grubs and insects?
Yeah.
Yep, that's about right.
We could also make mud to seal up the baskets we wove, and that's when it dried, then we could use them to fetch water.
Excuse me.
We weren't all that worried. I mean, we ate enough to survive, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you had to.
We didn't think much about it. And we just did what we had to do.
How long would a person live? Basically, how many years or cycles of the sun would a person be alive?
40 or 50, maybe?
Okay. What would the native terms be? Do you happen, does Sarah have the capability of saying those?
No, translation is not going that way.
Okay,
It's coming this way, but not that way.
okay, very good. So what color was your skin white, brown, red, green, purple, yellow?
We don't, no, no purple, no.
Just had to make you laugh.
But I know what purple is because sometimes when the sun would set, the sky and even the distant hills and stuff would be purplish.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, so the skin was like a reddish brown.
Okay,
It would get very dark in the summertime.
of course. So, did you have family elsewhere? You know, like sisters or brothers that lived in other communities, other villages? Or were you everyone? Everyone just lived in that one community.
It was just that one community. Sometimes people from another community or from ours would go elsewhere and they would come here. But normally there wasn't a lot of movement, change.
So with that, did you guys travel much? Because was it difficult to travel since you had to walk?
It could be difficult, could be dangerous. Definitely was tiring. We'd have to carry our goods that we wanted to trade and gourds of water.
Mm-hmm. So gourds grew along the streams.
Yeah.
Then you would pick them and let them dry out.
Yeah.
Then would you cover them with anything to make them waterproof, or were they waterproof enough?
They were waterproof enough.
Okay.
I don't know, the women dealt mostly with that stuff.
So you said the women, and you were a man. What was the hierarchy in the village like? Were women the bosses, or were men the bosses, or did you share the responsibilities?
Pretty much shared, but the women could be pretty bossy. We didn't have, okay, she's kind of asking this. We didn't have a chief per se, but there was much respect for as someone got older. Male or female didn't matter. Their opinions were valued. So if there were like community decisions to be made, we would share ideas and opinions and eventually come to a consensus. Sometimes it took a while.
Okay. Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask too, so I'm glad she asked it. Like, who was in charge? So you basically had a council, which was all the older people in the village.
I don't even know if it was that formal because there weren't that many
That many people.
people.
Come on, so let me get the junk out of your eye. Did you have a favorite animal that you would travel with, or help you with your chores, or
No, animals
protect
were
you?
hard to come by. And if we did see something like, say, a deer, it would become a meal for a feast. And
So you didn't have a dog as a pet or a cat or anything like that?
no. Cats were usually, what do you call them? Cougars.
Ah,
And a little more dangerous.
yeah, that little house cat I'm sitting here petting.
Yeah. And once in a great while, we'd see a few wild horses, but they pretty much stayed far away from us.
Yeah. So they were afraid of you guys, basically?
They were mistrusting of anybody or anything. That's
Okay.
just the way they were.
Did you have any type of weapons by chance?
Well, we made knives. But we didn't usually need weapons, per se, as you're thinking of them.
Yeah, good, because I don't agree with weapons. Were there any conflicts with any other villages or? Look, yeah, there's the water. Locations?
Rarely.
When there was, how were they resolved?
Well, usually, if there was a conflict, it was about maybe what and how we were trading, and we eventually just came to agreements.
Okay.
And if it was something greater than that, which was, it was a matter of survival for everybody. So,
Yeah. Did you have any religions or belief structures pertaining to the hereafter, or where things came from, or who made the world, or any of that type of stuff?
I wouldn't say structures. We just knew that the earth was our mother and everything we had came from her. So we respected her, called on her sometimes if it was too hot and things were drying up, or if it got too wet and everything was washing away, or, things always settled down and worked out.
Okay.
As long as you respect Mother Earth, she respects you back.
So what did you make your weapons or your knives from? What material did you use?
Usually bone and rock.
So you'd sharpen them somehow?
Yeah,
And how would they be sharpened?
it would be kind of tricky depending on what bone it was. Most of the animals were small, so the knives were small.
Okay.
And then just wrap the small rocks, flat rocks,
You're getting a visitor.
on either side.
He's looking for you too.
He's soft and furry.
Yeah, we love our little kitty.
Oh,
What?
what's that noise?
It's a purr. That means he's happy.
Oh, because he's little and not dangerous.
So, your kids, were they always well behaved?
Ha!
Did you have children of your own?
No.
Oh, were you married or?
No. Just was never meant to be.
Okay. What were your family structures like?
Well,
Were they just open and anyone could sleep with anyone, or did you
pretty
pair up?
much open, but a lot of times a pairing would last.
So, you had no kids. How many kids did you have in your village on the average?
On average, I'd say about 10.
And you had how many adults on average?
And 25 or so.
And how many teenagers, if any?
Oh, well, kids grow up to be older kids.
So that 10 was including older kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Because then they start, as soon as they're capable, they start taking on adult responsibilities. Which,
Right.
granted, there weren't a whole lot.
No, not compared to today's society. And,
Pretty much did whatever needed to be done. If we saw that somebody's house needed shored up a little bit, or added some clay to it, or mud, or whatever, or, we just stepped in and did whatever had to be done.
Cool.
was kind of nice. I mean, that's not to say there were never any arguments,
Yeah.
but, you know,
There's always a difference of opinion.
yeah. Mm.
Did you have a shaman or anyone like that in your group?
No.
Were there any shamans?
I think some communities had them, but we didn't have one. We were a small community and pretty much took care of ourselves and just individually or as a group, depending on how we felt, we would greet the sunrise and go about our day and have like, I guess you could, she's saying the word powwow in the evenings if we were able to bring enough scrub together and light a fire.
So I take it then a fire was not something you had all the time.
Not all the time, but many times we did want to cook, especially if we got some meat, we'd want to cook it. And so we'd have to go out, and we'd all do it, go out and gather up whatever would burn so we could make a fire.
So you didn't keep a stockpile of that stuff in your village?
No. He left.
Yep.
No, but
He's coming around the other side.
we would take turns protecting coals so that we could just start up a fire again.
How would you protect the coal? The coals?
Keep it inside a little clay thing. And,
Like a little pot?
you know, like I said, and we would take turns so whoever had it would make sure it didn't go out, didn't burn out, go cold.
And how would you do that?
Blow on it periodically.
And would you also add some other fuels to it to keep them burning if needed?
I didn't normally need it. Maybe because we did use it more frequently than I might have,
Oh,
you know, given, I don't know how to say
yeah,
this.
I understand.
Okay.
You used them more frequently than you thought you did.
Yeah.
Whenever you did catch a deer or a larger animal and you had a feast, was it all consumed or did you put some of it away for another day?
A little of both, maybe.
Yeah.
Because we could make jerky,
Oh,
Out of it.
okay. Excellent.
you know.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah. But we would eat our fill. Because we didn't know when the next time would be that
Yeah.
we'd have that. But, yeah. We'd all kind of pitch in. It was usually the women's job to make it, but sometimes we'd all help.
Yeah. So how'd you make the jerky?
Just pretty much thin slice it and lay it in the sun. Let it dry.
Oh,
Pretty much all it was.
okay. So you did this to raw meat or cooked meat?
Depends.
Just define the difference.
Sometimes cooked meat, but raw usually worked better.
Oh, okay. Did you have any insect infestations in your food?
Once in a while.
Bugs eating them and things like
Yeah. Yeah.
that? And what did you do with that?
Ate the bugs.
So what were your beliefs back then about life and death? Did you believe in a afterlife experience, or did you not know it, or didn't you even care?
For the most part, we didn't get into it, I guess you could say.
So you didn't think
But
about it?
when someone passed from this life, we respectfully buried them because we respected who they were in this life. But we knew they had gone on to some other existence, and that was fine. That was good. It was all part of, death is part of life.
Yeah. It's a refresher period, renewal period. Okay.
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
That's the way I view it. Sarah has a similar view. So did you have anything made of wood that you prized? Since wood was so scarce, that's why I added the word prized.
Yeah. Not so much.
Okay. What was your main tool for catching wildlife?
How do I describe it? Kind of like a twine that we would make from plants.
Okay.
We, twist it and rub it and put it together and then make snares. It had to be tough.
Yeah.
And you had to have enough of it. It usually worked. Once in a while it would break. But
Did anyone develop the idea of braiding the snares together, make them thicker? I take it that means no.
no, at least not in my community. And nobody ever shared that with us.
Did you have any twigs around?
Twigs.
Very thin branches. Maybe growing.
Maybe from the scrub.
Were they straight or curved or?
A mix, depending.
Okay.
We used that a lot for what you call kindling and to
Right.
get the fires going pretty good. They burned well.
So when you sleep, how did you sleep at night? On the ground, or
Pretty much on the ground.
did you have a bed or anything
Didn't
between
need
you
it.
and the ground?
Didn't need it.
Did you pull all the stones out from underneath you and so you make your place of rest as soft and smooth as possible?
Well, let me put it this way. When we would make our homes, we would do that smooth, the basic floor, I guess you could call it,
Okay.
and then build up the walls. It wasn't very big. We'd even leave some windows or holes
There you
to
go.
for air circulation and sometimes there was nothing else to do. We'd actually take some of the clay and build up what you would call a bed.
Oh. A raised surface. Off the
Yeah, a
floor.
raised surface off the floor. And if there, over the passage of time, the women would have made through trade or somehow, I don't even know how they did it, frankly, but they would have, I guess you could call it a mat or a pallet or something. I'm using her words now.
Okay.
Especially for the older folks to lie on, because, their bones get creaky in old age, and it would make things a little more comfortable for them.